Tantor Audio, a division of recorded books, presents The Humorless Ladies of Border Control, Touring the Punk Underground from Belgrade to Ulaanbaatar, by Franz Nicolay, narrated by Franz Nicolay. Were I in the place of the emperor, I should not be content with forbidding my subjects to complain. I should also forbid them to sing, which is a disguised mode of complaining. These accents of lament are avowals and may become accusations. The Marquis de Custine. The gentle reader cannot know what a consummate ass he can become until he goes abroad. Mark Twain. Introduction. I became a professional traveler. It said musician on my tax returns, but if you drew a bar graph illustrating how I spent my years, music would be a matchbox, and travel and waiting twin towers. I stopped having real friends. My old friends still saw one another, met for drinks, fell in and out of love. They just did it without me. And my new friends were either friends of necessity, we were trapped in the same rolling boxes, or of transience, necessarily shallow relationships, since I wouldn't see them until their own orbit blipped through mine again. I understood what it was like to be dead, wrote Paul Thoreau of The Itinerant Life. People might miss you, but their lives go on without you. To those of an unsettled, anxious, or fretful temperament, a life of perpetual travel is a convenient Gordian solution. The insistent flicker of unease, the failing fluorescent bulb holding back despair, is, at home, a problem, even a sickness, crying for a solution. A new job, a new love, a new, the unanswerable. But in travel, acknowledged to be at best uncomfortable and disorienting, and at worst dangerous, one finds a convenient and all-encompassing skeleton key to the existential lock. There is always gain, said Montaigne, in changing a bad condition for an uncertain one. Out of sorts? Blame the jet lag. Tired? Blame the bunk on last night's train. Lashing out at those around you? Those around you are strangers and don't understand a word you've said anyway. Having dispensed with the existential questions, we travelers are free to indulge nearly any pursuit that doesn't require possessions. Many of us settle on voyeurism, the flip side of solipsism. We adopt a God's-eye view, lordly in our solitude. We spend an afternoon, by necessity or accident, in a strange city, passing snap judgment on a society based on its customer service, road maintenance, the fashion sense of 30 minutes worth of passers-by at a cafe, manners of queuing and bargaining, pornography, or street sign graphic design. We generalize from particulars and approach individuals armed with pre-programmed stereotypes. Confident in our conclusions, we claim an intuitive gift. It is true that I have not fully seen, wrote the Marquis de Custine in his Russian travelogue, but I have fully divined. We claim the privilege of the inquisitive foreigner, the dignified heritage of Herodotus and Alexis de Tocqueville. We may get some details utterly wrong, but still capture something of the larger truth. Or conversely, misrepresent the larger story, but preserve some quotidian or piquant details. We ask leading questions of innocence, then spend a suspiciously long time in the bathroom, scribbling out their answers or pecking them into a phone. We are sketching what V.S. Pritchett called the human architecture, gathering basketfuls of Ford Madox Ford's little bits of uncompleted lives, trying to patch the holes we've torn in our own lives by our leaving, with rags we've picked from those of the people we pass. But let the last word on wanderlust go to Melville's Ishmael. Whenever I find myself growing grim about the mouth, whenever it is a damp, drizzly November in my soul, whenever I find myself involuntarily pausing before coffin warehouses and bringing up the rear of every funeral I meet, and especially whenever my hypos get such an upper hand of me that it requires a strong moral principle to prevent me from deliberately stepping into the street and methodically knocking people's hats off, then I account it high time to get to sea as soon as I can. There is another way to travel, of course, and that is with a companion. My wife Maria, a musician and an ethnomusicologist from a family of post-war refugees from western Ukraine, and I had long planned to ride the Trans-Siberian Railroad. In late spring of 2011, we met Dima, a young Russian from St. Petersburg, in Kiev. Dima had booked and was managing a month-long tour.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?